nervous.
All right, it's another episode of the RSL Random Fan Podcast.
Random.
We should probably rehearse before we do a podcast, right? That's probably a good idea. Anyway,
it's easier when we're in the same room.
Yeah, it is a lot easier. So RSL had a game. Somebody showed up in Minnesota, but I don't know who. But let's get to the starting lineup. I know everybody wants to talk about
Before that,
this game. Go ahead.
He's Brent. I'm Tyler. There we go.
Well, yeah, because you're not here. I mean, usually I'm pointing to you and waiting for you to say something. So
that's all right.
Brent, Tyler, and Brent.
Get to that lineup.
Also, before we get started, we always forget this. Please follow, subscribe, like, rate, all of those things. We'd love to have you give us some feedback, but it goes a long way if you subscribe on our YouTube channel, our Goals.tv channel, and everywhere on social media. So thank you for doing that. We appreciate everybody that listens. So to the starting lineup in the rain-drenched Lake Allianz Field there they had going on in Minnesota. RSL in goal, Rafa Cabral, and across the back line, Philip Quinton at right back, Vera Glad next to him, then Vera and Sam Junka? Is that how you say
Junka.
that? Sam Junka?
Junka.
That's how they said it. Pablo doesn't say it like that, but that's how they said it.
Emeka Anelli and Brian Ojeda in the middle. Dominic Marksuk back from international play on the right. Diego Luna back from his stellar play with the U.S. men's national team. Diogo Gonzalez, he was there. And then Forster Jago up top. RF Puyol was sitting out because he got that horrible red card. So that is your starting lineup going against. Did we want to go over the...
Nope. No, we don't.
Minnesota starting lineup.
Nope, we don't like Minnesota, but we love their strikers. Both those strikers are brilliant.
Tony O'Shea, yeah. Rumored to have been a target for Real Salt Lake in the postseason. But maybe he wouldn't have come either.
Yeah.
Maybe nobody wants to come to Salt Lake. You just never know.
Hey, when you're trying to sell the owners, I mean, you don't really get players, not unless you're a huge
club. What? Do we want to talk about the game first, or we want to jump into breaking news that everybody's talked about? No? Tyler?
So it was really cold against Minnesota. It was 36 degrees, nice and rainy. The guys they really didn't like that temperature or the conditions. As if you watch the beginning of the game, you could see that they actually had gloves on and they were putting hand warmers in each hand. It was not ideal conditions for our guys.
It was not, and they played disinterested, disjointed, and it was something to behold.
Disconnected. Yeah, it was ugly. It was not pretty at all. And it was coming down. The rain was just coming down. Looked like it was coming down sideways, backwards, forwards, left and right. I've never, played a soccer game in a...
Half of our guys are going to be getting colds. We're going to miss probably about 6 guys because they all have the common cold because of how bad it was.
Sniffles. Sniffles outbreak. So, let's talk about the play.
There may be some changes because there was a lot of changes at halftime. And the guys that came in played better than the guys that went out. So we'll get to that too. But
man,
I was
started
watching
off with chance after chance after chance for Minnesota.
Well, one thing. Let's talk about our play. It seems like we have forgotten that there's a midfield. It's like we have this offense that's kind of like a circle where we work it around the back and up a side, and then maybe back around and back up a side, and then we just kind of have forgotten or just don't use or take advantage of the midfield. Am I seeing that wrong?
And then we give it away, and then we press like crazy to get it back. Hurry, get it back, get it back, get it back, get it back. But
how many turnovers?
Doesn't work.
The turnovers were crazy in that first half.
Well, it's wet.
It is wet, but I don't know how couldn't you say anything good about it the first half?
We had a lot of possession, which was really nice. I mean, we definitely controlled the ball in the back. But after about the 4th or 5th, honestly, when we just got into that upper third, that 4th or 5th pass, you could just see that it wasn't as precise as it needed to be. And a lot of juggling, just juggling between both teams. And it felt like I was watching only our half for that first half. I mean, there was some times. It was only our half.
Yeah, and let's talk about Rafa Cabral. Is he the best thing that's going on with RSL right now?
Let's just talk about your love of him. Let's
Yes.
just get it out of the way. If there was a bachelor competition, you would get a rose, right? Or would you give him a
Oh,
rose?
yeah, I'll definitely. I would be doing all those things to get a rose from Rafa. Please
Pop that
pick
before
me.
rose.
No, really. No, I'll start exercising, I promise.
Yeah.
I did 5 sit-ups today just for you, Rafa.
No,
I'm
that
starting
man's-
the chair workout for people over 50.
No, you're doing the shake weight. What are you talking about?
Great.
So he did have some brilliant saves. There was the one that had the breakaway where he dove to his left and just caught it and forced it out of bounds. He had another one where wide open, was it a header or a smash? The guy kicked it and he was making a play across the goal and blocked it with his left arm and it went back to the player. I think it might have been Oluwaseyi. And then he popped it, headed it back across the goal. And then he kind of got in the way with the one that
They had a good chance in the first minute. It was like second minute, and they were getting corner that was pinging around, and that almost went in. And then, like you were saying, about the 14th or so minute, they had that through ball that Rafa barely got. He had to get all the way down. He like rested on his head. It was like one of these, And he barely got that off. That was a great run in behind. Glad usually has the closing speed to get there, but he didn't quite get there and get down in time. And Cabral didn't take a great angle, but he still, at the last second, did a Brennan and picked the right angle to go down at. So he did get that one, which was great because if he chips that, we're in big trouble, Anyway.
Yeah, and it might have been a lot worse in the first half for us, but it wasn't.
Yeah, I think he mishit that, honestly, Yeboah. How do you feel Yeboah did? Would you want that guy on your team?
Well, if you were just taking a one-game look at things, one-game snapshot, there was a lot of players on Minnesota that would look good on RSL. And the flip side in that first half, is there a player that somebody would want from RSL to play on their team from that that snapshot? Diego Luna was trying, but there is something going on with this team. There is a huge disconnect. I don't know if everybody just kind of disjointed because of the news that popped up that the Blitzer Group is looking to offload the club to the Millers because, they want to get more swig stations in the stadium or something.
Breaking news.
So that cannot be. That's got to play a little bit into, maybe not at the top of your mind, but in your subconscious. You got those things rolling around the back of your head, and you're thinking, no wonder they haven't signed a striker yet or come up with something, because now they're in limbo. That might affect the sale of the team if the new guys, the new owners, don't want one of the players that the front office is supposedly chasing down. So, but also the play on the pitch this year. I mean, we have 6 games, two wins, 4 losses. There have been glimpses of some beautiful play, but so far and so few and in between, right? It just hasn't been enough. But watching Diego and Diogo not figure out a way to play together, and Mark Chuk as well, it was like they were 3 different players trying to do 3 different things. There wasn't a lot of cohesion up there.
Well, it's tough to talk about the first half and bring that up when the second half, after the substitutions were so you saw so much possibility with the substitutions. So, I mean, it's tough because do we just talk about the second half then?
Well, we can get to there. Well, we should talk about.
Well, I think we got to talk about how bad we were and where that badness kind of was coming from, in my opinion.
I don't know if I would say the first half was bad from us. I feel that there was some disconnection. I mean, we had so much possession. We kind of thwarted quite a lot of opportunities. We were still pretty good on the back line. I guess my dad would probably say otherwise. But overall, it wasn't too bad given the form we're in and also the conditions overall.
Oh, Tyler, jump in, Tyler. I can see you.
No, I'm losing it. Here's what happens. Anytime a defender makes a run into the box, and this is what happened multiple times this year, a defender makes a run into the box, and our midfield doesn't want to run with him. Not our defensive guys, our 1 and our 3, right? We run a 4-2-3-1, and I'm talking about the 3 and the 1. When that guy makes a run into the box, we all look around like, oh, I've never heard of these defenders getting forward like this before. I don't know what to do. And like, if you go back to that first, real big chance, it was just a line breaking ball, right? Fine. That's on the defense. They struggled. They got back.
That
But on
was
the
a
second one,
beautiful pass too.
yeah,
I mean, to get around, that's the one you're talking about where
Love.
he got behind Justin Glad?
yeah. And he
Oh,
kind of looped in around behind, and Lou just, and in the rain to make that kind of a pass, knock it off, Lou.
well, here's a
Quit
question
that.
for you, Tyler. Before you get too far away, when was the last time we saw a pass like that from RSL?
Yeah, it happens here and there, but we kind of ping them high and hope they bounce, and our big guys knock somebody off the ball. Like, it's just, yeah. Anyway, the one right after that, it was about 16:50 or so, 16:45 on the game clock. The Yeboah got wide and held the ball up, and he drug Quentin out with him. And then their left back, 26, he snuck into the box, and Mark Juke just let him go. And he ends up in the box alone. So then the funny part is the person that slides over, so I think it was a recycled corner kick, but the person that slides over is our top guy, Forrester. So he comes over, and he's playing with his hands behind his back because he doesn't want to give up a penalty, right? And then the 20 zings it across, and then Justin Glad gets pushed out of the way, and Oluwaseyi, I think it was, had 2 chances. He knocked it off the post and back to himself, and then he missed wide on the other side.
No, that was the save by Cabral. Just to talk to my put it in for my man crush, because Cabral was coming across and it hits him in the left arm and back to.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Oh, and then
you're
Ojeda
right. You're
was
right.
it?
Not off the post. He blocked the first one. Yeah, fair.
Get it right.
And then Oluwaseyi just shanked it, just missed the outside of the post. Which, okay, fine. But that problem is something that is a recurring theme. Every time their defenders get forward, and we have to require either Diogo, or Mark Juke to come back and play some serious defense on that guy, especially Mark Juke. I don't love that. I think teams see that and they're like, left back, get up, and then Mark Juke's going to try to get him behind him, which is fine. We'll kind of take that. But he got beat down that wing multiple times. Multiple times. And didn't run with his guy into the box a couple times. And I'm like, yeah. And then somebody was saying on the second goal that Vera wasn't running back very hard. I don't know if that was just Caleb post game or some other people, other fans were like, you go hard, but also on a breakaway, you don't want to give up the cutback because that's worse than giving up the initial shot sometimes. Anyway, the theme there is, as a group, we're not defending well. Our back four stick back and try to just stick with their guy and hope that the other guys are taking care of stuff, but they're not. And that's because we have such 2 strong pivots. The other guys around them are relying on them a little too much, is what I'm seeing. And that's driving me nuts because then we're not getting the same thing on the other side. When Luna and Mark Chuk get down the field, they're not taking people on one-on-one, and I don't think it's Luna's fault or Mark Chuk's fault. I think we're just disconnected when we're attacking, and it's kind of ugly to watch right now. This game was really ugly, especially in the first half.
Yeah, and it's a theme.
Offset bucks.
It's a theme
Still have
too,
to
where every game Pablo is talking about. He had a quote after the game. He says, "I said to the guys, when Rafa is the guy making plays in the box, that's not a good sign. We've
The
got
only
to help.
guy making plays in the box is Rafa.
We've got to help Rafa defensively." So yeah, you're absolutely right. It's been a theme every single game. The last 3 or 4 games, 4 post games, Pablo's talking about their in-box defending, and then they work on it all week, and then people, they just kind of are doing their same thing. So that's where it's like sometimes people, they just kind of, you lose their ear, right? You lose their ear and people aren't paying attention. They're not getting results, and so they're trying to do their own thing. So there's it may not be serious. It could just be a bad run of play or something, but you're absolutely right. There is a disconnect. Something's going on.
Yeah, and it's worrisome too because that's our starting back four are still not quite, like Brennan doesn't love Junqua, I'm sure.
I do. I like Katranis because he's aggressive. Junqua is the opposite. Junqua has the ability to be really great defensively and pass and stuff, but Catranis pushes the envelope a little bit more, which a lot of RSL players don't tend to do. But you also got to think too, now this season has been a whole new tactics change. Instead of it being, 4 guys in the back with sometimes one guy coming up, it's now they're trying to get only 2 defenders back, more numbers up front. It seems like it's brand new tactics for the same formation, and it's not gelling well with these guys. These guys are not liking what they're doing. I mean, for Vera to have to cover that much ground is a hard thing to do, especially in that weather. And in that transition play you were talking about, I mean, Glad had every right to see that Vera was gassed or couldn't run and could have switched, and that would have been a better opportunity. Probably tactics are limiting that thought process. We're not able to just play. We're having to kind of remember what to do or something.
When it comes to Catranis, too, they just kept going on and on and on about how they need the left back to be. They expect him to be forward and to be part of the offense and be creative. And then they sit him down and bring in the defensive guy.
And then Junko just stayed back all game, too. He just stayed back, too, most of the game. Like, and maybe that was part of it. Because he played the whole game. He didn't sub out in the 70th like we expected. Pablo's like, at such a demanding position. We expect to sub around the 70th minute. And then they sub out Ojeda. And I'm like,
I don't understand what's going on right now. Because I thought the whole Catranis thing was just a single game thing. Rest him. He's been a lot of miles. But now to make him not play in Minnesota, it makes it seem like they think that Junqua has a better position. I don't know.
Or there could be, we've seen it in the past where people get in the doghouse with Pablo and it's hard to get out. Whatever the parameters are, we see it with new players too. They'll sign a new player and then they have to jump through, I'm assuming, feels like they have to jump through some hoops. They've got to show all the effort, they got to connect with the universe, and then they'll let him play. So yeah, it just feels like there's
connect to the universe.
It's like for all the talk of being, together and the rah-rah and the motivation, it doesn't feel like it's gelling at the moment. We're only 6 games in, and there's a lot of change. It's a whole new club. It feels like from 6 months ago when we still had Chicho and Gomez and all of that. But do we want to talk about the goal?
No.
Well, I do. I'm not going to have to work on. Make a note here. Stop asking questions.
You're supposed to be the host.
Stop asking questions. You
specific answers to.
Stop asking questions. You idiot. There we go. All right.
So
the
26,
goal.
Pereira, he was killing us, right? Pereira, that guy, he was killing us, man. He was getting forward. He was owning Mark Chuk offensively. He was owning him defensively. He swung in 2 really good balls, and Oluwaseyi hit the bar on the second one. It like bounced up, and he shot it high. And he hit the bar. I was like, dude, how have we not given up a goal yet? And it was only still like the 18th minute or something. It's not like we were very far into the game, and we're giving up chance after chance after chance. And I'm like, dude, the goal's coming. And then we kind of played a little bit better for a little bit, just holding on to the ball, not necessarily attacking better. And then the goal. You going to walk us through that, Brent?
Yeah, the 30th minute, 29th minute, 30th minute. It was beautiful. I was really impressed with Minnesota. They don't want possession either. They want you to have the ball and they want to counter off of you. So they're not a team that plays with a ton of possession. But that's what I like. I like a team that possesses the ball. But 4 passes.
Yep, they're outside
from
back
the midfield. So the ball comes in and Justin Glad heads it back to nowhere. Heads it back to the half line. And I think it was...
They're right back.
Yeah, picks it up. And he sends it out to the right.
He sends it to
Oluwaseyi, who he takes it a little forward. And
Vera steps out of position. Right. You're going.
That's the second goal. Because they send it forward to the middle, and it comes back to Lud, I think. And then he sends it out to the right to Diaz.
No, it was Oluwaseyi who sent it out. Who dropped it back, and then Lud, then Diaz. Yeah. I'm watching it, so sorry.
Oh, okay. And so it goes to Diaz, and then, just like you were saying, Oluwaseyi keeps his runs into the middle of the box, while 2 RSL midfielders just kind of let him go, and he has a wide open header at the spot almost, and there is nobody there, and down into the corner, and we're down 1-0. It was 4 passes in about 2 seconds, and they're in the back of the net. And Philip Quinton was just like, where did he come from?
Yeah.
So
and I watched Justin Glad throughout this game. he does some seriously good defending. I really thought he did well. Even on that goal, there was a midfielder that came up and rotated in, and that's why Oluwaseyi was open, is because Vera never stepped to anybody in that whole sequence. He stepped up and pulled him out, and then he hit it back and then wide, and then they crossed it in. And when they crossed it in, Vera didn't flip back and find Oluwaseyi. And there was another run in there, and so Glad had to take the guy that was by him, but Vera never found his guy. Sam's kind of stepping out wide, and Ellie and Ojeda are tracking back, but to nobody, you know? And then he just finds that space between Clinton and Glad, and yeah, after the fourth try, he's going to stick that one in, right?
Yeah, and it felt like that was a
passing
dagger.
is just what made this happen, though. The clever passing, having it go to the outside, sending it back in, like it was really, really beautiful play. And it's what RSL is trying to do. They're trying to get that many numbers forward. And this is kind of just how it should be done. You know, like that negative pass then to go outside, that was brilliant. And then to send it in with three guys on the line against our three guys. I mean, it's really beautiful football. I wish we could do this.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it was, and it must have just been miserable watching the game. I mean, when they'd have the right angle, just drizzling down. And games like that, when you go down, I mean, that's got to suck a lot of the fight right out of you, especially in those conditions. And now we've been struggling, and now we've got to play through all of this. So, yeah, so halftime, 1-0, and everyone, as they pointed out, was just sprinting off the field. They could not wait to get out of the field, and I don't blame them. So we go into halftime.
We gave up some more chances, though. I mean, there were 5 or 6 more really good chances they almost scored on, you know? And there we were just, you know, last-ditch defending. Cabral saves, Quentin clears, you know? And then right about the 34th minute, we had a couple of chances. We had a couple set pieces in the first half. Like, that's the only thing we really got. And even the commentators were like, I don't know what Selleck are doing, trying to shoot from 40 yards out. Like, lob a ball in there, boys, and let your guys attack it. Like, you know, like, give your guys a chance. Or, yeah. And I don't love Lloyd Sam on the call, but I thought he was good in this game, even though we were getting smashed by Minnesota most of the game. I thought he was spot on. Like, sometimes he gets a little off for me, but you know, we skied chance after chance after set piece, like not even getting close, and it was kind of disconcerting as a
Yep. And then they ran into halftime. So we ended up at halftime. After all that, then they sprinted off the pitch. Sorry, I missed a few minutes. My bad. So we're in halftime. So
Tyler has a lot to say. Okay. Later.
We don't want to miss anything.
Well, but just when I'm frustrated, I'm like, ooh, what do I do with this emotion? Nah, so I write it down, take notes.
Yeah. So halftime, any orange slices?
Besides Cabral?
Yeah, I was going to go to Cabral, obviously, but is there anybody else in the first half does he get 3 orange slices, or is there somebody that's worth a mention?
I thought we gave a lemon slice, too. We started a new lemon slice, right?
I got to give an orange slice to our boy Quentin. He got bodied on one of those plays, and I'm pretty sure he turned into a slide, and he still got up, and he still was able to make a play. I got to give him an orange slice for that.
So Cabral and Quentin. There's 2. Anybody else?
Maybe Luna we can give orange slice to?
I mean, Luna was hustling, but it was hard to connect with anybody else. Yeah. Which brings me to my lemon choice of the game.
Lemon slice.
Now, Brant and Brennan, I think we're gonna go to a new segment. I'm
RSL Random. There are so random fan podcast.
We got a prop here. We got the Morales Menendez line. And we started off the season.
This is for our designated player. I don't know if you guys know this, but we do have a designated player.
Wait, what's our designated player's name?
Diogo Gonçalves.
Good job. Okay, so we did have this game with the goal. So we're going to put a G up there at the peak, because that's where we were. Last week we came down back to just below normal. That's the midway point, right? Okay, so where would you guys put our DP after today? Would you say he had a worse performance or a better performance than last game?
I think he's right there at the Menendez almost to the Menendez level.
I think we dropped down another solid amount. You with me, Brennan?
I'm a little too positive for that. I don't know if I
Okay.
can really.
All right, we'll erase a little bit up
A
there.
little higher, a little higher. You
Okay.
decide, Brennan.
Is that right? What do you think?
That's
A little higher?
It's fine. He's not doing the best.
The RSL Random Fan Podcast now with props.
Now with lines. We got lines. We're approaching the Menendez line, Brennan. No.
Run
Says
out
not.
to-
No.
You can run out to Staples and get your RSL branded dry erase markers. So yeah, he was nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found in the first half.
Yeah,
It was.
you got my lemon slice.
And I was, so lemon slice for me, let's see. There's just so many to choose from. Just so many. You know, we can do the whole game. My lemon slice goes to Vera. And I'll tell you when we get there.
Okay. Well, to be fair, if we go back to the game and we look at what actually happened there, at halftime, Pablo was kind of sick of seeing stuff too.
Wait,
See what happened there at halftime?
okay, pause, time out. You can talk about it, but we're not there yet. Okay?
Oh, okay.
As soon as we're done with the half orange slice lemon crap we just came up with, as soon as that happens, Tyler will start the first half, and
He's
you'll
just so
tell him
excited.
what happened.
He's so excited.
I know. Just let us get there. Stu's crazy.
All right, so what you got, Brennan, for halftime?
Well, I want a lemon. Can I have a lemon? You guys got
Lemon
lemons.
slice. Yeah, you
Give some
give out
lemon.
your lemon slice.
Oh, I'm gonna give my lemon slice. Honestly, is it bad to say I was gonna give it to our boy Ojeda? Because I'm full on, like, I will live and breathe Ojeda. Like, if he's on our team for the rest of his life, I would be so happy. But this game kind of frustrated me with his, like, possession ability. But also, it did look like he had new things done where they wanted him to play much higher up on the field instead of being farther back and double pivot, all that mumbo jumbo. I don't think what was asked of him was the right call, and then to do what they did in the second half. I don't think that's fair in any shape or form. And so I think he had a terrible game, but I think it was the coaching staff that put him up to it.
I think it was the water, but either way, he didn't play great.
Yeah, I saw him splashing in the water, so maybe he didn't. Maybe he was just distracted. So,
Yeah, where's the
Oh.
squeegees or the drainage or whatever it is at Allianz that makes it so that they don't get puddles in the middle of their field?
I bet Dan Farnes was on the hotline, even though he's not there at RSL anymore. He's probably on the hotline. What the heck are you guys doing up there?
No, he was
was-
calling his insurance agent because that's what Allianz is. They're an insurance broker. So they're like, hey, man, cancel my annuity. That's it. I'm out of here.
If you can't
Hello?
keep the water off the pitch.
How are you going to keep my investment safe?
Anything else at halftime?
Oh,
No.
Anything else you want to bring up? If we can just jump to the start of the second half.
Tyler with the start of the half. What happened, Tyler?
Off you go, Tyler.
well, Forster Jago came out, and since Arias Piol is not playing in this game, didn't travel with the team, sitting on the red card, they grabbed another guy that they got a international slot. I think this is the most international slots we've ever had. We just keep getting them.
Yeah,
Let's
there's
let
like
go.
47. I think the
Grab
whole
a
team's on
couple more.
international.
Except Anelli and Luna, everybody else is international, might as well. I guess glad. But there
Well-
you go, Quentin. You know, we got a few Americans here. But hey, Berea makes his RSL debut. And Brent, did you notice he had a little tag on his shirt?
I
was like, is that a
did.
missionary tag? What is that? Is that
He
is that what that
had
is,
his
Brent?
MLS debut patch that started, shows you how in tune we are, started last season, 2024. This has been going on. So if you want to know how it works, yeah, the MLS debut patches will be worn by any player making their debut, whether that be a newcomer or homegrown player on the rise, starting when the 2024 campaign begins in February 21. And the patches will be placed on each newcomer's jersey. And then after the game, they head back to Topps for a one-of-one Topps trading card. So cross your fingers, you might be the lucky winner, the lucky purchaser of the Jesus Perea debut patch. One for one card.
Yeah. So he jumped in. And I got to say, he was a different player than Ajago. He was way better with his feet. He might not have been as good on the press or on the pressure or on the knocking people over side, but he's more of a striker, like a I'm going to make this run into the space and hopefully they see me type striker. And when you get a guy like that, I think eventually you're going to find him sometimes. He had 3 or 4 chances where he just kind of took off and ran into space and people found him. Or they pulled back and lobbed a ball and he just went with it all out to go get it, right? And I think he brings a different kind of energy, and in a different game he scores that one of those goals and starts a bit of a comeback maybe. Maybe
Yeah,
not.
he had a left-footed shot that was kind of, maybe that's his off foot, and then he had the header,
Yeah.
that maybe if he loops it back where it came from over to the right side of goal, it has a better shot.
Yeah.
And then
But
also
he's making those runs. That's the point
Yeah.
for me.
Lachlan Brook then came in for, I don't know if you know this, but RSL has a designated player in Diogo Gonçalves.
Well,
Yeah.
he's approaching the Menendez line, so
So Lachlan
Lachlan
Brook came in,
played better.
and I think I've heard
he did.
he's not happy with his playing time, and I'm sure no one is happy unless they're playing every game. And then Xavier Gozo, the homegrown, came in
The
for
boy.
Dominic Marchuk.
And he
then
actually played quite well.
yeah, and then the other one was Bodie Hidalgo in for Philip Quinton. So 4
Which was also an upgrade.
Yeah, surprising, because I am not a Hidalgo fan, but I do like Philip Quinton. But I still think it's a crime against soccer that RSL has not found a player to lock down that right back position. I mean, Javane Brown, and it was even on the roster.
Yeah, he was
What
there.
happened? Where was he?
You know, I was surprised the one player that didn't make the trip was Tyler Wolf, and he's been getting some minutes. He wasn't in
Yeah.
the 18, 20.
But it was
22 order.
interesting that we, for the first time in RSL history, subbed 4 players at halftime. Brennan, what does that tell you Pablo's thinking?
It's cold outside. That's what he's thinking. It's cold. We gotta sub them out. Those guys can't handle the frigid temperatures of Minnesota. Well, no, let's.
I
let's
think
go over
it was
some
probably
reasoning.
halftime. The
let's
halftime
go
talk,
over-
he probably went in there and says, like, if I hear you say it's cold one more time, you're out.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I
go.
mean,
go.
it's fully warranted though. I mean, Ajago was not doing what he needed to do. Berea has some flair. He's closer to a true number 9. Like he's a pretty great player on the come up. Then Diogo not having any sort of range. Brook is an obvious choice because he's got a foot. Mark Zook is being pulled way too far out, getting isolated, not converting, not being able to go around guys. Gozo has been getting a lot of highlight through the U.S. team. Might as well see if he can create something in this game that we're not sure of. The one I don't agree with, and I don't like that statement, Quinton, I think, did a fabulous job. The switch of play in the half, going the other way, I think it was just the direction of the rain. If you would have given Quinton a chance and let the rain go the other way, he would have been fantastic.
Yeah, here's what I'm thinking. Honestly, I think next game Quentin slides inside with Glad, and then Bodie plays right, and I would hope Mark that not Sam plays on the left, but whatever. You know, I guess Sam's the left guy. But if we're going with 4 big white guys in the back, then maybe we're a big defensive team at that point, right? Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I still think that we should have brought in a taller, more hefty.
Taller?
Yeah,
The
center back.
Quentin?
Well, Quinton's tall, and I think that's the issue, finding the pairing, right? Justin Glad, probably the best center back, but he does have limitations, and he's only 6 feet tall. In a game that has a lot of strikers, he's been manhandled many times this season by taller, more physical strikers.
Yeah, I
Or
think
just
more physical is the
And
key
they've been
there.
able to neutralize him and just get their head on the ball right over him. So we don't have someone like, who was that guy that was free, played for St. Louis, Tim something? I think he found a home.
Isn't he red-haired? The redhead
Yeah,
guy?
someone like that just has a little more presence. I think Justin Glad needs someone like that next to him. A little bit bigger, a little bigger presence, so we have a little more in-box defending, because I don't think Vera, he has his good points, but I just don't think that's a dynamic duo. And I think it's going to hurt us until we
Play
make
him on
changes.
the left. Play him on the left.
Yeah,
I mean, I
Vera,
brought that up last
just-
week. Play him on the left.
Why
He
are
doesn't
we-
get forward. He doesn't have to get back. He doesn't have to race back. He just has to hustle back. Then we have 3 guys playing back that want to play back.
So yeah, I think there's,
That's right, though. Whatever.
but I think that's the one thing that holds Justin back from like getting national team call-ups. Plus he's it's kind of struggle when your team's not winning. People are going, why? How come we're giving up so many goals? But I think his presence in the box is what kind of holds him back. He doesn't have a huge presence. He's not in there knocking balls away with his head. He is quick. He's great with the feet, and he has a lot of intensity. There's a lot of great things about Justin Glad. But I think he would really shine if he wasn't called on to be the main guy back there. If there was somebody that could pick up, be a little bigger presence in the box, so that's to create a better duo there. So the game did turn around.
Or something like that.
Yeah. You just need
Marcelo Silva, somebody like that.
somebody, yes. Not like a 28-year-old Marcelo Silva.
Right,
Maybe
right.
that's
Well, and that's what we keep hoping Vera's gonna be. And then what happened in the 54th minute?
Well, I think we should point out too,
right?
before we get to that, is that RSL was playing better. They were dominating the ball and they were pressing forward. And that second goal, which really ended the game, that second goal came because they on a counter.
Yeah, and there were 3 guys up on the ball, and he just Diaz knocked it out of the back. They knocked it up, and Oluwaseyi came back and tapped the ball to Lod.
And you had Vera and Glad, or Vera and Anelli, I think it was, pressing both of them. Vera comes out of nowhere. He comes flying in out of nowhere, like he does.
And he should have let Anelli handle it, and he should have stayed back.
Well,
like a true center back.
The other thing about that, it was Junkwa before, he's out there on the left, and he sends a ball in to no one, and it looked like Nelly was, not Nelly, but Luna was there, and who else was just right there? I think it was Brooke. They're both right there, and I think he was expecting one of them to make a run to the corner, and it was a nice ball.
Played it in. Yeah.
And Diaz just comes over and just he's just trying to clear it. He's not sending it anywhere. He's just trying to get it out of danger, and then our 2 players combine with Oluwaseyi, and boom, what does Oluwaseyi do? He turns and just heads back, and another just great ball over the top.
Yeah, he took it, and the ball was still played in his own half, and Lod played it to, I think it was Pereira, and then he just played it down the line. The whole half, the field was open because Vera had come up to pressure, and now he's got to run all the way back, and Oluwaseyi's fast, bro. Like, he caught him the time before because he did kind of the same thing a few minutes before that and pretty much ran him down step for step, got pressure on him. And this time I think he just thought, I'm just going to guard the cutback. You know what I mean? And this is what we've talked about a couple times with Vera, where he gets tired and he just doesn't go all out on a challenge or 2 here and there, and then they score. And it's like, you really want to see full effort, from your team?
Yeah, and when you get the announcers calling you out on the game, like, maybe you should be jogging there. What's Vera doing? He's just jogging back. Did you see the same thing, Brennan?
Yeah, it was not a good run back by Vera. We kind of got too condensed, and it's just the downside of having, relying on just 2 center backs as our back line. Like, I love the fact that we would switch to a 3-man back line that allows for, somebody gassed to kind of trail back and just get the backup run. But I don't know, man. Talking about that part is just frustrating.
Yeah, because if you watch the play, Oluwaseyi was slowing down because he was trying to figure out what's he going to do. I think there was another Minnesota player coming across the box there. I mean, he might have been setting up for a cross because they were crashing back. But even if he just sprinted turned it on from the top of the box for 5 or 6 steps and slides, he's going to make a play or break it up and force Oluwaseyi to make a decision instead of just blasting it into the top corner. And I think the other thing, Cabral, if you watch him, I think he's waiting for Vera to do something because he starts to come out and then he sees Vera and he just kind of gets in no man's land. Yeah. And then Oluwaseyi puts it in the back of the net and RSL goes down 2-0. And
the
it's
game
essentially
was pretty much over at that point.
Game over. Although RSL.
And he did. I mean, he kind of like faked like he was going far post. And then Cabral started going down, and he went up over him. So that was pretty impressive. It was a pretty impressive finish.
And I really think Vera could have got back and made a play. And they kept talking about it. That was my favorite part. They kept talking about it
over
in the broadcast, over and over and over. So So yeah,
He's
2-0.
Canadian. Oliver Shea.
Yeah,
Canada.
Yeah, Oliver Shea, man, he was good.
but RSL,
So Canadian.
to their credit, those young kids, the subs, they fought hard and they did create chances because we didn't mention the halftime. What was the expected goals at halftime, Tyler?
0.1.
0.1.
Point goals expected at half. That's how much of a chance we had in the first half. And it was all from Diego Gonçalves' free kick, which he put 6 rows up into the, what do they call their place? What song do they sing? The
Wonder Wall. Yeah, so
Wonder Wall. Come on, Brennan, sing with me.
we did end up with the expected goals of 1.7. So that second half, there was an improvement.
Yeah, you know why? Because Gozo got after it, bro. He crossed that one into Junqua, who's sitting at the 6, bro. It's a tap in.
Hit him at the knee.
Goal.
Why, man?
Well, they're just not used to one of their players on the wing getting a ball in the box.
It was such a
He
good
wasn't
ball from Gozo, bro.
Expecting it. They're not expecting good balls to be played in. So, yeah, you can't blame him. It's been 6 games and no one's... Well, there's been a couple, but just being facetious
Such
there.
a good ball, man.
You got to give it up to those 4 subs because that honestly, that changed the entire game, overall, and it makes our main guys look a little bad, look like maybe there's some ego involved or something is making it. Because if those guys that subbed on are getting the same coaching, same tactics, why is it our main guys can't get what they just got? That was, if we had that in the first half, we're not going down 1-0.
Yeah, there's a lot of truth to that. It may not be serious, but there's something at the point right now where there's something going on internally with this club. Somewhere. Maybe, Pablo's trying to get everybody on board and they're just not seeing it. One thing too, we could say Pablo Ruiz got subbed in about the 70th minute. And it was a long way, who was the Minnesota guy that was messing around with the ball.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah. Dancing on the ball a little.
And
that was
nobody.
At the end of the game. That was
like
stoppage
80th.
time, no?
I don't know.
No.
But no one. When was the yellow? Ruiz finally went over and got the yellow card. It was a 90+3.
Yeah.
But nobody
was
wiped him
showboating.
out. Yeah, he was showboating.
Ruiz kind of did, right?
But not like he needed to be.
Yeah.
No one church balled him. If this team was totally together, that guy gets church balled at some point.
And even Lloyd Sam was like, "Careful, young man, you might be on the other end of this in 2 weeks, and you don't want to be dancing and mocking the other team. Careful, young blood." I just kind of that's kind of like Lloyd Sam's take on stuff. That's why I thought he had a good broadcast.
I enjoyed it for that.
Broadcasters, yeah.
Yeah, I thought he did well. I thought he captured the game, the tone of the game, and the thoughts of the fans. It's like, come on. I was a little disappointed that he didn't get a better yellow card on him. How's that?
Yeah.
He just kind of went over there and kicked him in the shin. Hey, don't do that. Hey, stop it. So.
And then kind of give him one of these, whatever that is, with Pablo Ruiz.
Yeah, handbags. Hold me back. So RSL loses. That's 5 losses this season. If you throw in the Herediano game at home, 5 losses. And 3 of those are at home.
And yet, we're not in last place because Peter Vermees's team is in last place.
Whose team?
Oh my gosh, it's not his team anymore.
What? No Peter Vermees? What are we going to do in MLS without Peter Vermees?
Isn't he? He's the longest standing coach ever, right?
Yeah.
Not even in MLS, but
he was almost in the world, right?
He was. I think he was one of the longest tenured coaches in the world currently. I mean, there's coaches that coached longer than him, right? But that was a long time. The GM, I think he was the GM too, so he finally had enough of himself. That's it, Peter. You're out of here. No, I'm not. What are you trying to say?
He's fighting with himself.
Yeah, he got severed. He's severed.
You can't fire me.
He's severed. He's the GM and the head coach.
Yeah.
He fired himself in the elevator.
Had 1 point there in Kansas City. So
all right.
Real Salt Lake sit in a solid 8th place, Brendan.
I just want to... No. Let me tell a story thingy. You're okay.
Go ahead.
Good. Longest tenured managers. Top 10. Do you think Peter is in the top 10?
No.
Yes.
No? Yes.
Oh,
okay. He is not. Arsene Wenger from your boys Arsenal is in 10th with 21 years, 224 days. Do you
Wow.
want me just to fast forward to number 1?
Or ones we care about, if there's any important ones along the way.
Let's
Anyone
see.
we might know.
Somebody from Blackpool was 22 years. A lot of English. Oh, Alex Ferguson.
Oh, I never heard of that guy. Where was he at?
Man United. That one. Can you believe it? 26 years, 194 days.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yes.
And one day they woke up and said, "Hey, we're going to cut your pay," and he goes, "I'm out."
Yeah, once they got rid of Roy Keane, it was kind of over. The number 1 guy, his name is Fred Everest, or as Tyler would say, Fred Everest. He officially was 45 years, 304 days. Incredible.
45?
That is Random Facts with Brennan. There we
What?
go.
Yeah, what team? What team though? What club?
It was some French club. Hold on, let's look right here. In charge of, English club, West Bromwich Albion. And that's
Wow.
from 1902 until 1948. Wow.
Wow. That is so long and so much that,
Yeah.
I mean,
Storied career. And the only
just
reason
to live that long
yeah.
is not nothing, you know?
Yeah.
Yep. Crazy
So
stuff.
anyway, time for
Yeah.
the Come On Crawley update.
Sorry,
Boy.
go ahead. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
just
I
going to
wanted to get
stat
in.
it up.
I'm excited. I mean, I know this has been a long season. Scott Lindsay, the Messiah, is back. 2 games ago, Crawley Town, 12 points off of the drop. 2 games later, 6 points off the drop. They won at home 1-0 over, who did they beat? Not Blackpool, Bristol Rovers. And then they went up to Rotherham and just demolished Rotherham and got their coach fired, Steve Evans. Former Crawley Town head coach the people still love. He got axed yesterday after the game, today I think they announced that he's no longer with the club. So we are 6 points away from safety with 7 games to go. Excuse me. 7 games to go, and they are playing lights out. It's amazing. It's like night and day. Scott Lindsay just got in there. People love Crawley. He loves Crawley. Crawley loves him. The fist pump is back, and the Great Escape is on. I'm telling you right now, the Great Escape is on. We'll find out Tuesday. Tuesday's a big game. They have 7 games left, and I think all of them except for one against Birmingham, who is running away with League One, is against teams in the bottom half, so it's all in their favor. Scott Lindsay did say there was 9 games left. We probably have to win 6 or 7, to be honest, but it's not impossible. Let's go do it. It's going to be close. Should be fun, but it's exciting to watch them just be dynamic and incredible like they were
Who's in
when they
second
got
place, Brent? After Birmingham.
I don't know.
Some little
Somebody-
club with the Wrexham.
I saw Wrexham, they've released their finances. They made like $126 million last year. They had like a 155% increase in revenue. Just insane.
All in the United States, probably, too. Awesome.
Who knows?
Yeah.
I'll see if I can find it. Well, you guys are talking about Arsenal, where's Arsenal going to finish? Oh, I don't know, second place? And then
Yeah. Same thing
Manchester
in
United.
Wrexham. The only thing worse is finishing in like 14th place.
Hey, as long as we're not relegated, we're okay.
Really?
You know?
Is that the standard now for Man United?
Yeah, I mean, if you had the front office, or not the front office, but just the managerial side that we have and the ownership, I mean, we're in 13th right now. That's incredible. I thought we were lower. Yeah, man, just not a team to be too excited about at the moment.
What about the FA Cup? That's kind of cool. Forest went through and Palace.
Just-
Not your typical clubs to make the finals, right?
Okay, real quick, I found it. Wrexham released on Monday, revealing a turnover of $26.7 million. This is up from $10.5 previous year. So they're just making money hand over fist. But when you have quality American ownership, that's what happens. As opposed to what
compliment?
Crawley
I like
Town
it.
has.
Was that actually being a compliment, or were you complimenting Crawley?
No, I was complimenting quality American owners. The American owners for Crawley Town have struggled. But they're not superstars either.
Yeah, they're not out there making gin and making movies about their struggles and they're getting the American public to buy their jerseys and,
They're not
just
suing
doing-
anybody. Maybe
Right.
if the owners of Crawley Town sued Justin Baldoni, then
Or
then
Justin
maybe
Bieber,
we could
right?
Just anybody
sue
famous.
somebody. Sue somebody famous.
Put in the media, please.
David Beckham. Sue David Beckham for what? I don't know. Just for being so dang handsome. Sue him.
Small town Crawley suing Man United for the name the Red Devils. Do something.
Trademark infringement.
Yeah. At least our teams aren't losing to the, U16 teams. That's always good. Did you see Chelsea lost, was it like 2-0 to their U16 team?
Really?
Like, it's
Wow.
bad. Yeah, you should look it up. It's hilarious. Chelsea kind of.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Well, and
All
Arsenal
right.
still have the Champions League to fall back on if everything else goes wrong,
Well,
right?
there is that. Way to big time us, Tyler.
Well, they do have to play my other team, which is the Spanish team of Real Madrid, Los Blancos. Hola, Madrid! I know, it's the one club I front run in all of Europe.
Man, Real Madrid.
Yeah, Los Galacticos. Anyway, that's the best matchup of all time. So whoever wins that will win the Champions League. You watch.
And also
Anyway.
your other team, Reading.
Oh, yeah. Reading can't get their owners out of the way.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
They have until April 5th to get a new owner, or they could be disqualified from
This
the
week.
EFL.
Or they
Yeah.
might just get kicked out of the whole league.
What happened
Under
to
the terms of disqualification, Mr. Dye must now divest his interest in Reading Football Club and is committed to doing so to meet this requirement. Following the discussion with the EFL, the time allowed for the divestment to take place was extended until Saturday, April 5th. This is from BBC Sport. So yeah, I'm hoping they do get kicked out, because then maybe that's one less team getting relegated. And
Yeah, that would be
Of course.
so sad.
I'm only worried about Crawley.
Right. But you would watch a whole other club implode just to
No.
not get relegated, Brant? That's so selfish.
No. We should do an episode and talk about fandom, soccer fandom, and where it needs to get from the American side, from the Real Salt Lake side, compared to some of these clubs. They've been around for a century and more.
Yeah,
But,
exactly.
what it means for a club like Reading, or you had the Bury saga. There was a club about 4 or 5 years ago, Bury FC, that was a storied club that went under, that just can really devastate a community, and people are just so connected to their clubs, which is what we want fans of RSL to be, connected to the club intimately. And it means more than just the wins and losses. It sucks when you lose, but we have a ways to go to get to their level. Not that there's not a whole bunch of passionate fans. We just need more.
You got it.
All right, so that was fun. I think that was more fun than watching the game on Saturday. It's not
Probably
raining
was.
here. It's not raining inside anyway.
Yeah, so hopefully if you're listening still, you had more fun listening than you did watching the game, because that was a rough one.
And if so, what do you do, Brendan?
Well, I think Vera, when he was tracking back.
Smash the like button
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I thought we were cutting again. Smash the like button.
and subscribe.
And then Oluwaseyi just took it to him, Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, the podcast has been over since that cut, hasn't it? All right. Thank you
Thanks,
for
everybody.
listening.
Smash that like
See-
button. Tell your mom to listen.
Say hello to your mother for us.
Say hello to my mother for me.
And also, don't forget the game on Saturday against the Galaxy is at 2:30 p.m.
3 p.m. Be there, be square.
Come early and come often.
Pause.
What? No, I just meant like show up early. Take it. You know what I meant. Come on. And if that, have a good week.
How many
We'll see
kids do
you
you
next
have?
week on the RSL Random Fan Podcast. Well, I won't say anything vulgar, I promise.